Hello? Is this working? Is this working? Is it working, citizens of Gotham? Can you see and hear me in my new setup? Same look though. Same look, everybody. Tell me how this is going. Kate, let me know. I'm sorry for the delay. I'm just this session was really about testing the the new setup. Let me get us going on the Rockfin. Let me get us going on the Rockfin 4. It is almost 7 o'clock Pacific time on Sunday, April 18th. Political Vigilante live. Let me just get this all set up. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. Boom, pow, boom. Going live on the Rockfin. Oh, Rockfin's telling me you can't try. Well, yeah, I think you can, Rockfin. I think you need to try harder, Rockfin. I think that's what you need to do. I feel like we might have to move a couple of things around, but we're basically getting it. All right. Boom, boom, pow. I don't know why this keeps jumping around. You got it? Graham answers your questions. Analytics. Here we go. Let me share this out. Boom. Hello. Hello. I know I said, oh, God. 10 a.m. Perth time. What is up? Thank you so much for watching. Can you hear me okay? I feel like I got to move this mic thing around. In the meantime, let's discuss what smoothie I've got. Ooh. Wow. That feels great. This smoothie, unsweetened organic almond milk. What's real simple? Frozen organic banana, frozen organic strawberries, scoop of unsweetened organic peanut butter. It's literally just peanuts, oil and salt. And Truth to Tweet is here. Hello. Tried to start earlier for you, Truth to Tweet. I know it got late. Sorry. Some creatine and vegan protein powder. My God, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's like Kava Kava. Do you think America is slowly shifting into socialism, communism? Not communism, but socialism for sure. Because America's realizing, more Americans are realizing that we need socialism. Communism and socialism, two different things. Oh man, I do need a minute alone with this smoothie. It's so good. Went on a long hike today. Been doing more hiking. Really like it. Outdoor, connected to nature, no technology. It's great. Get out in nature. It's the best thing to be out in nature. I'm gonna move the microphone right now. Hold on. this is what we did before. I don't know if this is sturdy enough. That's my question, this TV table. Let's say no. I want the microphone right here. Oof. What's the question mark for? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Does that work? Okay. Okay. All right, hit the like button, share and subscribe, and share this out on your social media. And of course, we are still demonetized by YouTube. Let's see, does this? Tight on the headroom. No headroom. There we go. I don't know, something's just not the way it was. I can't figure it out. There we go. Ooh, I don't like that. Feels like it's going to tip. There we go. There we go. Okay. I don't know. All right. First of all, folks, a great way to support the show is go to rockfin.com/grab Elwood, where you can hit, you can do the tips. And I want to thank everybody over at Rockfin. Please hit the like button. Thank you, Nick Sandoval, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice, for supporting the show on rockfin.com, blockchain cryptocurrency. We're in our third month of demonetization from CIA Tube. I mean YouTube. I mean Deep State Tube. I mean Stalin Tube. I keep getting them wrong. So what Nick is doing is supporting our show. What do you say to the people who say taking creatine is taking steroids? Wow, I haven't heard people say that in a long time. But I don't know. My first time using creatine. So maybe I'm roiding out. Maybe I'm just going in a roid rage. I just wanted to try to just up the guns. Get my vegan guns hot and tight and ready to rock. That sounded a little creepy. You know it. I know it. It's okay. Let's take a smoothie break. Oh, God, I love you, smoothie, so much. Ooh. We're going to put that down here. All right. Tony DeMayo, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Boom. Hello, Graham. The cops are sociopaths. It's just insane, man. So, yay, we're back to normal. The back to normal in America is a police shooting and a mass shooting every week. So we just had the FedEx shooting. What's the next? So I guarantee you, mark my words. What's today? April 18th? In the next week, definitely before the end of the month, there will be another mass shooting. There will be another cop killing, probably of an unarmed. The cops will absolutely kill more people, Definitely there'll be unarmed black people will be killed before the end of the month. And when the mass shooting happens, I predict it will absolutely be done by a male. I don't know of any women who get guns and go shoot places up. More than likely a white male, more than likely in their early 20s with a history of mental illness and easy access to guns. In 12 days, tell me if I'm wrong. It's April 18th. Come May 1st, so 13 days from now, just under 2 weeks, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Was I wrong? Nope. Creatine is to steroids like coffee is to cocaine. Thank you. Thank you for watching, everybody. Marie Garin, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for supporting us on creatine.com. I mean, rockfin.com. Try pineapple and basil smoothie. Sounds weird, but it is delicious. Well, now I put pineapple in many a smoothie. I've never put basil in there. That seems crazy. It's like putting pineapple on a pizza. I don't know what you're saying. It's madness. You're talking about, Mary. Madness. But I'll try it. So glad I caught this during work. That's awesome, Tony. Kate has put in the chat, if you want that Graham Elwood smoothie recipe, sign up for his newsletter, and confirmation, you get a copy of the, if you sign up for my newsletter, which is at grahamelwood.com/newsletter, just go to grahamelwood.com. We send a newsletter like once a month. We don't load up your inbox with it. And Kate helps put it together. God, way too many words. She puts together the newsletter, and we talk about whatever we got going on. Like my movie Afghanistan is now completely available. It was available on Amazon. They stopped carrying it, which is fine by me. Suck it, Bezos. He didn't give me any money for it anyway. He didn't have money to pay an independent filmmaker who made a movie about going to entertain the troops in Afghanistan. There's just not enough money. Bezos just doesn't have enough money to pay for that. Like literally, he could just give independent filmmakers like me like 10 grand, 15 grand, and I'd be like ecstatic. We'll carry it on Amazon and do a buyout. Just it's a buyout. Here's a $30,000 buyout, Graham. And we'll have this movie for 10 years, and we make all the profits and whatever. So, Afghanistan is exclusively available at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood under the premium content. So if you want to so here's what $10 a month at premium content gives you just from my channel. First of all, I'll say this. You get everybody's premium content for that same $10. It's not like Patreon where you got to support each person individually. Everyone that's on Patreon, you get their premium content for $10 a month. So with me, you get Afghanistan, you get Graham Goes to Russia, you get early access to government secrets, you get archives, all the playbacks on all the live streams, you get a couple bonus clips a week that I only put on Rockfin that I don't put on YouTube. And you get the karaoke videos are all available only at Rockfin. That's what you get for $10 a month, and you're supporting this channel. So how rad is that? So literally, for the price to like rent or buy one download of one feature film, it's about usually $10 to buy a movie, maybe, $5 to rent it or whatever. For $10, you get both of my movies, all that premium content. And so if you just want to watch Afghanistan, just sign up for Rockfin for 1 month and watch Afghanistan and Graham Goes to Russia and then shut it down. Pretty sure a cop could overpower a 13-year-old and is of no harm. Of course. A cop has to shoot a 13-year-old whose hands are empty. Like, ugh. Just watched Afghanistan last night. Very enjoyable. Cobra, and thanks for sharing with us. Bubblegum Juice, thank you so much. We have got 219 people watching on the YouTube, 135 likes. Hit the like button on whatever platform you're watching. 27 on the Rock. Rockfin is worth it. Thank you guys so much. Boop. Oh, wait, I'm going to take a quick, I'm going to get up out of my chair real quick because I need a little more headroom. This frame is a little tight. We got to just fix this. But overall, I'm liking this. I got this set up time. We got nice lighting. We got the moneymaker good. That's worse headroom. How did that happen? We'll see. I gotta figure out this mic arm thing. I gotta figure out the mic arm. Oh, that's a horrible idea. I know what we do. I figured it out. There it is. There we go. There's a little headroom. We got to figure out the mic arm thing. The mic arm, got to find a new home for it. I basically just have this like TV tray. So, yeah, it's got to live deep corner. Hold on. Folks, isn't this fun? This is you didn't realize today was really just a tech run through. Smoothies and tech run-throughs. Don't worry. We're going to get to some segments. I'm going to answer some questions. Ho, 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 ho. There we go, kids. Boom. That's the angle we needed. We're getting the headroom situation figured out. We've got this guy figured out. Everything's coming up. Elwood. Look at it. Look at it. Look at them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. Got everything tiled in. Zoom all the way in. Remember you're a rich man. I guess we go like that. That's how we would do a segment. A little tight. I got to figure this out. Something's. Oh. Getting it dialed in. Getting it dialed in, Gotham. Look at this. Boom. You can see the glare on this, though. Huh. We're going to figure that out. We're going to figure that out. But we got, all right, we're getting there. We're getting there. The black screens are where it looks. Okay. Bit of an angle. Yeah, we got to tie it in. I think Graham needs the June Taylor dancers round to round out the stream. I think you're absolutely right. Who put the meth in Graham's toothpaste? Yeah, I like this, right? I just slide over here when I'm Yeah, see, we're getting it. Little tweak here, little tweak there. I love this background because you don't know what it is. Are we in the ocean? Are we in Gotham Harbor? Where are we? Graham, do you think Biden will recognize the Armenian genocide? Doubtful. Hold on. There it is. You don't need to ask me the Armenian genocide question 15 times. You just ask it once, and I'll answer it. If you continue to do that, we'll call it spam and we'll block you. So it's a good question, but if you don't need to put it in the chat 500 times. It gets old. So no, Joe Biden is not. I doubt it will, because the oil strategic location and all that stuff of hold on, one more little tweak. With Turkey and Azerbaijan, it won't. I'll show you. Let's see. Do I even still have that? Yes, I do. Okay.
Smedley, but
okay. Well, we'll leave that up there. Thank you for getting a subscription to Rockfin. Sharif Snugs, what's up? I'm going to miss the show because I'm headed home. Miss you guys. Well, stay safe, dude. Stay safe, Sharif. He's out there banging on AOC's door going, where are you at? Where have you been? What happened? What's going on? What happened, AOC? Benjamin Do, shave your knuckles for justice, just for making tech issues so fun. That sort of thing is generally quite boring watching other people do it. That's what I try to do. Even a tech thing is fun. All right, I want to do this segment. Since I asked the question, and thank you for hearing in the response. Thank you for then not continuing to ask that question. And this is for everybody. It's great to ask questions. You don't need to ask 15 times in the chat. Then it becomes like spam, and then we'll block you. We don't want to do that. So also a great way to support the show. If you do a Rockfin tip, I will absolutely answer your question, and you're also supporting the show, because I can't do the show without you, because YouTube has completely demonetized me. I don't get any corporate funding. Boeing, Shell Oil, they don't fund it. They're weird. They don't fund this anti-war show. This anti-war, anti-toxic capitalist show doesn't. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know why we don't get more corporate sponsors. I keep asking Raytheon, even though I call them warmongering psychos, and they won't give me any money. What am I doing wrong? You can also go to Venmo and ask questions there, which I will check my Venmo right now, and it's scrolling below the screen. Like Gina G, shave your knuckles for justice. Like the just increased money to the Pentagon, but the first moon mission in 50 years. We need to think about the cost. Yeah. NASA, this is from Gina G as well. Thank you, Gina, for supporting us. NASA chose the moon lander contract recipient. It was SpaceX, only after it chose none of the three for budget reasons. Then Elon updated his payment schedule so that is now within NASA's current budget. All that matters is money and not design or quality. I know. And Gina works in aerospace. Sherelle Wyatt, shave your knuckles for justice. Graham, please watch this YouTube video. It's Torsten Kunnet. he heads Driver Co-op Local Driver, the new driver-owned rideshare platform, which I have talked about on this show. He gave me permission to give you his number. Tell him Chirel sent you. All right, thank you. I won't read his number on the air, but thank you, Chirel. I will contact him to get him on the show to talk about this because I want to get more info on this. So I talked about this a couple months ago. Because Uber, spent all this money and Lyft spent all this money to, I think, I always forget, but there was a Proposition 22, which that in California that was going to help drivers, and they've helped vote it down, whatever. I forget the specifics, but so there's and I talked about this a couple months ago. There is a driver-owned rideshare platform, that's socialism, worker-owned cooperative. It doesn't mean you have to wait in line for bread and you can't get Levi's. That's a myth. That was the Soviet Union. That's not what we're talking about. Yeah, that's great. I will get Torsten on the show, and I appreciate that. Andrew Dwyer, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Maybe if I privately pay you for your indie media comedy services, the CIA won't see. Thank you. Mary Hale, no super chat. F YouTube. Boom. Thank you so much, Mary. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for covering real topic. This is from Michelle Silva. Thank you for covering real topics that the establishment hates. Watching your Justin Jackson video. Yeah, great interviews with Justin Jackson. Really, he's fantastic, and we're going to have more on the show. And that might be the only way that would ever get me back to an NFL game was to go watch him play, just because he's for Medicare for All. And I might buy a custom jersey that just says Med for All Jackson with his number on it, which I believe is 22. Wan Chat there and all. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Excuse me, Wan Chat. Thank you so much. Thank you. You support my show every week, Wan Chat. Really appreciate it, dude. Linda Corey, I no longer want to support Patreon. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. I know they're starting to clamp down. Patreon is starting to clamp down. Christ, of course. Setchimo Cantanella. Setchimo, thank you so much for consistently supporting our show over on rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. I really appreciate it. Congrats on the move. Consider this tip a housewarming gift. You're awesome. Thank you so much. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. You're making Gotham great again. Sharif Snugs, dude, good to see you, man. Graham, my team and I have much coming to California, have a march coming to California the same day of the DC March on July 24th. I'm coming to your neck of the woods. Let's keep the pressure on. Awesome, dude. I love that you're out there organizing on the streets, man. I got mad respect for you and anyone out there. There's a million ways. And I know some of you are like, Graham, I don't feel safe I'm older, or whatever. I'm worried about COVID, or I pre-existing conditions, or whatever, which I totally get. There's a lot of ways to get involved, and direct action marches and protests are fantastic, but there's other ways too. Economic boycotts, online economic boycotts are fantastic. I'll just tell you a little personal story. Somebody I was hiking with today was telling me they were living in India. And, I don't know if you know this, but India has a caste system, right? That's I would call it a downside of Hinduism. I like Hinduism and sort of its spiritual concepts, but then it has a caste system. So it had the lowest caste is literally called untouchables. And the people that they're not registered with the government. They just live on the streets. And this woman, who is an American, became friends with this couple that were in the lowest caste. And she would give them clothes and food and money sometimes, and wanted to take the man into this restaurant one time. And the owner of the restaurant said, I'm not going to serve him because he's untouchable. And the woman very calmly said, okay. And then if you're not going to serve him, you're not going to serve me. I'm never going to come here. I'm going to tell all my friends to never come here, and I will never spend any money in your restaurant at all. And the guy changed his, oh, okay, we'll let you. And he let this guy be served. That's just one little restaurant in India that had the caste. This is one little example, but I talk about, so sometimes boycotts are big. Like when we had Justin Jackson on the show talking about Major League Baseball pulling the All-Star game and a lot of money out of Atlanta, Coke and Delta Airlines being pressured. That's powerful. What everybody pressured last summer during the George Floyd protest, everybody pressured FedEx, who then pressured the Washington Redskins, and they got rid of that racist mascot, the Redskin, which is a racist mascot, and now they're the Washington Football Club. They took the mascot off. They've just put numbers on the side of the helmets. Fantastic. So there's a lot of ways to get involved. There's a lot of ways to affect change. There's a lot of ways to contribute to society. So that's all awesome. And Sharif, I know you're doing a lot of great work, and I'm glad you're coming out. To Callie, Melissa H, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Been here since you started. The hamsters powering my computer were slow tonight. Maybe I should upgrade to ferrets. I think you should. This is the #1 show watched by ferrets and hats and cats and hats, especially in Iowa. #1. There's not another show that gets more ferrets and hat viewers than this show. It's top. Now I sound like Trump. #1, everybody knows this, with the top ferrets and hats show on YouTube. #1, everybody knows this. Anyone who doesn't watch it is wrong. I'm the best. #1, ferrets and hats. Rock Finzar. It's a great screen name. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Hi, Graham. Recently looked into the Epstein rabbit hole through you and some others. Watch the Maria Farmer interview with Whitney Webb. It's a fantastic interview, by the way. Very interesting to see all the deep state ties. I knew that there were very deep intelligence ties, but I learned so much more. P.S. Do you think Epstein was murdered or removed from the prison? First of all, I'll say this. Good for you for getting more knowledgeable on Epstein, but I know it's not easy. As somebody that does Epstein videos, and I do at least 1 a month or 2 a month, I will not let it go, because they're not just all the billionaire pedophiles haven't been rounded up yet. So I'm going to keep going. Les Wexner's walking the streets for free. Ghislaine Maxwell, Jean-Luc Brunel, and Peter Nygaard, all pedophile sex trafficking monsters, are all behind bars, I think, but we haven't seen any mugshots, and we don't know we don't know where they are. So no one has done any prison time yet, like prison time, like convicted, like 20-year prison, 20 to life prison. What was I going to say? So it's still happening, obviously. And when you see the ties to the intelligence community, especially when you really follow the work of like Whitney Webb, who is an amazing journalist, and you see how awful everything is, and it can kind of be dark to go down the Epstein rabbit hole. Because you go, oh my God, the world is actually run by sex trafficking billionaires, like people that rape and sell children and probably kill them when they're done with some of them, are running the world. Oh, wow. So it's not an easy rabbit hole to go down. It's not easy to information to, but it's important because it needs to happen. And listening to the Maria Farmer interview, I remember talking to Whitney right after she had done that interview, and it was like, yeah. So it's good to be informed and to know what's up. That's why I have an Epstein playlist. And you're also speaking up for the victims. Like anytime I feel like, God, I don't want to talk about this anymore, it's too awful, I think of people like Maria Farmer and Virginia Roberts Giuffre and others that have come forward and put literally their lives at risk. And that is really, yeah, it's hard. It's uncomfortable. But to hear what they've had to go through. But that's why I keep going, for people like that, for the victims out there, for the survivors, and for the people that there's still children being trafficked right now as we speak. That hasn't been stopped. We haven't stopped human trafficking, despite the nonsense that the QAnon psyop tried to push, that Trump was going to round them all up, which is a filthy bag of lies. So to your question, do you think Epstein was murdered or removed from the prison? I think they murdered him because he was middle management and he was becoming a problem. But more importantly, and this is something Maria Farmer talks about, The question, was he murdered? Was he taken out? And I don't blame you for asking this question, because it's like, what the hell happened? But we still don't know what happened. That they talked about it last, 2 summers ago. We don't talk about it anymore. We're not talking about Epstein. There's impeachment. There's always some new There's always some new distraction. We're not talking about Epstein. So Epstein didn't kill himself. I think they murdered him because he was when Maria Farmer said he was middle management, and he was starting to bring too much attention. So people like the real powerful people, like Les Wexner, who hasn't been arrested, or Prince Andrew, who this is the British royal family, or the Clintons and Trump, all have ties to Epstein. So the most powerful people in the world needed Epstein to go away. So if you look at like a criminal organization like the mafia, whenever a middle management guy gets busted and they think he's going to sing, they kill him. He gets killed in prison. So I think he's dead, because they said, when he was denied bail, I went, he'll be dead. That he was denied bail the end of July. He was arrested, and then a couple weeks later, like the end of July, he was denied bail. I said, oh, it's a matter of time before they kill him if he's denied. If he's granted bail, then the ruling class is going to let him get out again. But the ruling class, he got his get out of jail free card in 2009. But the last thing the billionaire, predatory, sex trafficking, pedophile ruling class wants is more attention, more light on them. They don't want it. Epstein brought a lot of attention to them, so they didn't want it, so they had him killed. But more importantly, did he kill himself? Did he not kill himself? They want us to spend a lot of time on that debate, because then when we're talking about, did the CIA bring him out? Was it Mossad? Was it this? Was it that? You know what we're not talking about? We're not talking about Les Wexner. We're not talking about the Clintons. We're not talking about Trump. People were trafficked out of Mar-a-Lago. Trump hired Acosta. Trump was on his plane. Bill Clinton was on his plane 26 times. Hillary was on 2 times. They visited his compound. Trump has called him a great friend. He said, I wish Ghislaine Maxwell, wish her well. Maxwell was at Clinton's daughter's wedding. So we're not asking those questions when we're talking about, well, did he this, did he that? You know what I'm saying? So be careful to not fall into their trap of, they always, when it comes to these pedophile rings that show who the most powerful people in the world and that they're evil, child raping monsters, they always want to just switch the conversation to make it seem to just get anything off of them. So all these swirling conspiracies, is Epstein still alive? Did the CIA get him out of there? The Mossad, this and that. See, we're all talking about potential conspiracies. We're not talking about the fact that all these powerful people, the British royal family, the Saudi royal family, are still trafficking kids today, right now. And it's happening in plain sight. And the most powerful people in the world are soulless, sociopathic monsters. So I don't want to spend I think they murdered him, and let's get the billionaires. That's what I think. But great question. Thanks for supporting the show. Shave your knuckles for justice. Hey, Graham, thoughts on DARPA news headline from last week? They created what looks like a microchip they call sensor placed under the skin to detect viruses. Oh boy. And then decide what to do with you. Shudder. Yeah, that's terrifying that they want to put a microchip. They already got us walking around with these. We all have a tracking device in our pockets, by the way, but this is so they all know where we are. Wow, that's nuts. Yeah, anything DARPA is involved with, I would be very scary, very leery of, very like, oh, not trusting. Lynn B, shave your knuckles for justice. Hi, Graham. Did you watch Prince Philip's funeral yesterday? Guess who was there walking behind the casket? Prince Andrew. Oh, wow. No, I did not watch that. I really hate the talking about the royal family in America like we're all supposed to give a shit, but not surprised that they put Prince Andrew in there. Since his really incriminating interview with the BBC, which was fall of 2019, so we're coming up on 2 years ago, they've pulled him from, he's not in any public duty. They don't want him out there anymore. Because again, he's causing problems. That interview, if you listen to it closely, that he gave on BBC was really for him to come forward and say, I didn't know Ghislaine Maxwell. I didn't really know Epstein. And to distance himself from Epstein. And more importantly, distance Buckingham Palace from Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. That was the purpose of that interview. Now, he failed wildly because he's just a bold-faced liar that's like, I don't even know if that was my hand in that photo. Like, okay, buddy, for sure. I know, hands just appear. So we had a resolution to get rid of the, yeah. Makes you wonder how many pedo islands there are. Oh, exactly. Yep. When money comes first, you can buy it all. Money talks. It's simple. Yep. Graham, I'm an aspiring semi-amateur comedian. How do comedians with political humor take time to refine their jokes if news moves onto other subjects without the jokes being irrelevant, outdated? Yeah, that's the tough thing about political jokes is they can lose their shelf life really quickly. That's the thing about it. So I don't know. Keep writing. Always be the upside is that you can always be, churning out new material because there's always crazy shit happening in politics, So that's what I try to do. Just keep writing, and some stuff you can keep using and some stuff you can't. Backyard Politics is here. What's up, Nikki? Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're well. Graham, will you do more videos on the drug war in the Philippines? I will try. I just need to get access to more information about what's actually happening there. And that's sometimes a little tricky. But I will. I'll try to. Thank you. More political jokes, por favor. Do you think Grandma Elwood could make an appearance? You mean Granny Petrol? Grandma Elwood would be my actual grandmother. That would be weird. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen, and go check out Backyard Politics. She's got a great show. Her and her husband are doing this show, and they're just like basically calling out all the neo-Nazis and the ties they have to police in Oregon. It's like, y'all are bold. So she's got a little YouTube show. You got to support it. This show, we have 78,000 subscribers. We should have probably 200,000, but they've been throttling us for whatever. But Backyard Politics needs more subscribers so that they can get over the 1,000. I don't know if they're over 1,000 yet. It's going to be hard because they're going to try to stifle these shows early. That's why I think they just deplatformed Annalise Garcia, because they're like, oh, we don't want her show to get too big. Let's just cut it down before it even has a chance. But subscribe to Backyard Politics because she's doing great on the street reporting locally in Oregon. We got to support indie media the best we can. Graham Elwood marches on July 24th. You got that right. Oh, Backyard's on Odyssey too. Right on. I'm on Odyssey, I think. Yes, I am. Just realized I can't send a super chat anymore. Yeah, that's how they've tried to cripple the show. That's why I go to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, because super chats was how I was like paying the bills on this show, and they took that away. YouTube was 60% of this show's overall revenue. Now I'm making up a lot of it on Rockfin and the online store. I'm selling merchandise now and Venmo, and you guys have been awesome on Venmo and PayPal, and you guys have been awesome. I really cannot thank you enough. But they just tried to cut the legs out of this show, right? Just take away a huge revenue stream. That's what they did. So, please talk Ukraine and Russia crisis. That's another thing I need to know more of, but I do know this. One of the reasons with the Ukraine, I have covered the fact that like Biden and Democrats and Republicans have backed literally neo-Nazis in Ukraine just because they're anti-Russia. So we're using the Ukraine again. It's another one of our good old-fashioned proxy wars with Russia. So we're decimating that country and pushing a civil war and trying to blame it all on Putin, even though we're stirring the pot way more than we should. All right. This person asked me about Joe Biden and Armenia. So I want to talk about this. I'm going to be announcing live shows soon. Mm-hmm. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching the Political Vigilante. Look at it rise up there, ladies and gentlemen. Look at it rise up. The truth. We're recording at an undisclosed location in the outskirts of Gotham City, deep below Wayne Manor. We've been demonetized by YouTube. We are completely supported by you, the viewer. So support us at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Also, if you go to grahamelwood.com, I've got merchandise and PayPal and Venmo and all that cool stuff to support the show. But a question has been asked because I've talked about the Armenian genocide numerous times on this program because America fails to recognize, and it's not like a whoops, we don't know what we're doing. It's a deliberate failure, fails to recognize the Armenian genocide. For those of you who don't know, I'll give you a brief summation. In World War I, now Turkey, then the Ottoman Empire, slaughtered Armenians that were living in Turkey, in essence, and mainly did it as a land grab. And it was a genocide. So much so, there's so much evidence to prove this. First of all, because Turkey today, it wasn't a genocide. It wasn't, people, it was war. People died. That's their claim, which is incorrect. It was so systemic and methodical that I think it was Himmler or Goering, some high-level Nazi said we modeled our genocide of the Jews in World War II in Nazi Germany after what the Turks did to the Armenians in World War I. And there's scholars that have come forward. So there's 3 countries that don't recognize the Armenian genocide. Turkey, obviously, the United States of America, and you want to guess? Did you guess Israel? Yes, you get really Israel, the country that was created after the Holocaust, the genocide of 6 million Jews in World War II. They get their own country as a result of that, but they won't acknowledge the Armenian genocide. Why not? I'll tell you why. And I'll show you a map in a second. So the question, will Joe Biden recognize the Armenian genocide? Absolutely not. He's not going to. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be like, I told you so. I would love for Joe Biden to recognize the Armenian genocide. He's not going to because of this map. This is going to sound like a shocker, but the reasons we're not recognizing the genocide are money and oil and military. What? America's never made a decision based on those things. Has it? I don't know. I don't read anything. I don't know anything about anything if I don't understand that. So, here's the map, okay? Here's the United States, the largest exporter of weapons to Turkey, right? We send weapons, military equipment and weapons to Turkey, right? Which is a population of 82 million people, plus $173 million annually in aid to Turkey. We also give $3.8 billion annually to Israel. Well, why is Israel in this? Well, this is why Israel and the United States do not support the Armenian genocide, don't recognize, rather, is the language I should use, the Armenian genocide. Armenian Genocide Recognition Day, I believe it's called, is coming up April 24th. Because we sell money to Israel, military equipment and weapons, and military is $3.8 billion. Well, Israel sells military equipment, weapons launching from Israeli bases to Azerbaijan. So there was this about, I don't know, several months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, there's a disputed area in Armenia, the Artsakh region. The Armenians claim it's theirs, and Azerbaijan claims it's theirs. But I did a video showing that there's all this proof that Artsakh is Armenian. There's churches that go back to like hundreds of years. There's grave sites. Like there's all this evidence that it's part of Armenia. So why didn't we get involved when Azerbaijan was clearly being the aggressor? Because Israel sells Azerbaijan weapons and Turkey sells military equipment and weapons to Azerbaijan. And where do they get most of their weapons? From the United States. So we don't sell to Azerbaijan directly, but this is still good money for everybody. And Russia sells military to all three. Iran is the only open border with Armenia. So we don't like Iran because they don't give us their oil. So we're not the one country that's friendly to Armenia. We're not going to help Armenia because that would look like we're helping it. Again, oil, money, greed, and bullshit. So this map, I know it looks a little convoluted, but this is how when Benjamin Franklin talked about beware form entanglements, he was talking about this very map. So if we stop funding all this awful war in the Middle East because we are so needed oil, this is another part of, gee, Graham, why do we need a Green New Deal? So we're stopping paying for all this murder. We should intervene and say, let Armenia have its land. Azerbaijan, you're fine. You guys acknowledge it. We're acknowledging it. But we're just so tangled up in war and oil and the petrodollar that we're never going to stand up for Armenia. And Obama, when he was running in the primary in 2008, went to a bunch of Armenian churches in America and said, I'm going to back the Armenian genocide. So Armenians said that they got behind Obama, and then he became president, and whoops, I forgot because of this, all this money and weapons and war and nonsense. But we need Graham to stabilize the region and blah, blah, blah. I love when people like that. And vote any blue will do, blue MAGA. Trump didn't recognize the Armenian genocide. He could have, he didn't. Obama didn't, Bush didn't, Clinton didn't. Biden's not. He's not going to. And vote any blue will do. People will defend this. Well, there's stability in the region. And, like when Trump said he was pulling troops out of Afghanistan, liberals were like, oh, he's going to destabilize the region. Biden's talking about pulling troops out of Afghanistan. I'll believe it when I see it. The deadline is coming up as May 1st. He's already pushed it to September 11th. So we've already not honoring the initial agreement. I'm just bringing all this up to just show you it's all nonsense the way they talk. Why do I know this? Because war is a racket. Now you think, oh, Graham, you hippie, anti-war liberals, all you talk about is how war is a racket. You don't really know how the world works. If you knew how the world worked, then you would know that, some of this stuff, this is necessary evil. Really? So what would you say to like the highest ranking Marine Corps general in the history of the United States Marines? Do you think he knows more about war than I do and geopolitical? Maybe. Yeah, of course he knows more than some vegan surfing comedian. So let's listen to what he has to say. Because here's General Smedley Butler talking why war was bullshit. And he said this in 1933.
Smedley Butler, a U.S. Marine Corps General Major who was the most decorated Marine at the time of his death, stated it well when he wrote,
I spent 33 years and 4 months in active military service, and during that period, I spent most of my time as a high-class muscle man for big business, for Wall Street and the bankers. In short, I was a racketeer, a gangster for capitalism. I helped make Mexico safe for American oil interests. I helped make Haiti and Cuba a decent place for the National City Bank boys to collect revenues in. I helped in raping of half a dozen Central American republics for the benefit of Wall Street. I helped purify Nicaragua for the international banking house of Brown Brothers. I brought light to the Dominican Republic for the American sugar interest. I helped make Honduras right for the American fruit companies. In China, I helped see to it that Standard Oil went on its way unmolested. Looking back on it, I might have given Al Capone a few hints. The best that he could do was operate his racket in 3 districts. I operated on 3 continents. War is a racket. It always has been. A few profit and the many pay. But there is a way to stop it. You can end it by disarmament conferences. It can be smashed effectively only by taking the profit out of war.
Take the profit out of war. Now, this is tough to do because the war machine has very sophisticated. I've shown you this, the propaganda multiplier, right? Whoops. Okay. So here's the White House, the CIA, and the Pentagon. They feed their talking points to AP, AFP, and Reuters. These are basically the global news agencies. Outside of like Al Jazeera, Press TV, outside of Middle East and Russia and China TV. That's why whenever something, that's why they demonize Russia, RT. And sure, maybe Chinese TV and Al Jazeera, boy, they have a skewed agenda. But yeah, but you're trying to tell me these guys don't? So they feed this to Fox News, CNN, New York Times, USA Today. So that's when people like Fox News is worse or Fox News is better, whatever side of the CNN is awful, but I like Fox News. You're all getting fed bullshit. You know, Fox News filters and packages their propaganda to a slightly different audience than CNN or MSNBC does, but it's still State Department talking points to tell you that war is good and we need it. There's never any like, why are we going to war? Why are we spending all this money on this? No one asks those questions because it comes from up top. As Smedley Butler said, in 1933, we got to take the profit out of war. Where these companies all profit. And then what I would add, there's 2 things that also I would add to this propaganda multiplier. One is these are just news outlets, but also that feeds the propaganda outlet is Hollywood. Now, like, you look at, let's say, where is it? ABC, right? Well, ABC is owned by Disney. Disney owns ABC and all of this. So I would put Netflix in here. I would put Amazon Prime in here. I would put Hulu. Hulu is part of NBC, right? So they help push the propaganda from an entertainment standpoint. American exceptionalism, war's good, killed the bad guy, gets the gun, like go get justice, go get revenge, right? That keeps us thinking America's great. It also helps with being divided, distracted, and afraid. Be selfish. All these comedies about, I'm a selfish idiot. There's no movies about how are you going to contribute to society? Let's help each other out. Like, hey, we're in class warfare. There's no movies or TV shows or sitcoms or comedy specials that are saying those things at all. So I would add that. Also, what needs to be added in here is all the companies that advertise with all of this. So that's big pharma, that's oil companies, that's the war machine, Boeing, Patreon, all those companies, right? And then part of like, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and all those companies to just keep you eating crappy food so you feel crappy, and credit banks, go get a credit card, get a new Capital One credit card and rack up your debt, just buy, just shop your way out of it. So it's all part of the machine that feeds this, which is why the military industrial complex, which, basically, I think it was George Carlin said, we're an oil company we're not a country. We're not a society. We're an oil company with an army. I mean, really, that's what all our wars are, the U.S. military. And they've been doing this since the late 1800s. That's what Smedley Butler just said. So if you're like, Graham, you're spitting in the face of the soldiers. Oh, no, I'm just repeating what a Marine, the most highly decorated Marine, said. So if you're a vet, you're active duty, listen to what Smedley Butler says, not me. And wake up to the fact that we're all getting propagandized. Wars are fought by working class people so that rich people can profit. And that, kids, is why when you follow the money and connect the dots, you get to the truth. So to answer the question, is Joe Biden going to acknowledge the Armenian genocide? No. I hope I'm wrong, but there's too much money involved in war and oil for Joe Biden to acknowledge the Armenian genocide. This show acknowledges the Armenian genocide. United States and Israel does not. So if you deny the Holocaust by the Nazis, you're a Holocaust denier. You're called a monster and a crazy person. As well, you should be for denying that Holocaust. It's awful. I lived in Germany for a year as a kid. I was at Dachau. My parents took me to Dachau. I saw it. It's awful. I've met Holocaust survivors that have tattoos on their forearms, so don't tell me it was fake. I know it happened. So how do you then have the audacity to not acknowledge this genocide committed by the Turks? And Turkey, if you're a Turk watching this, don't get all offended. You've just been fed a bunch of bullshit. Admit it. It's a genocide. I'm an American. We committed a genocide against African slaves and against Native American people. It's not, I can say that as American. I'm not going to pretend, oh, well, it was just how things were done. And the slaves were happy and the natives loved giving up their land. No, it was awful. It was a genocide. It was a genocide of two different people. So acknowledge it. If you're a Turk, wait, read a history book. You've been lied to. It's okay. We've been lied to in America. Israelis have been lied to. Wake up, get the truth, and acknowledge the Armenian genocide. Thanks for watching the show. Shave your knuckles for justice. Ba-boom. How about that, kids? 358 people watching. Genocide is a... Hitler tried to invade Azerbaijan, but Stalin stopped Hitler at Stalingrad. Wow, I didn't know that. The United States recognized the Armenian genocide in 2019. The Senate passed a resolution recognizing it. They barely recognize it, though. That was like barely. They're not openly saying that. That resolution passed, and then what? How have they implemented it? How has that resolution been put in place? I see what you're saying, and you're right. I'm not disagreeing with you. You're right. It's a matter of public record. But how have they like, all right, we need to get reparations. We need to push Turkey. They signed that bill and then went to Joe Biden hasn't said, hey, that bill was signed in 2019. Come on, Turkey. Come on, Israel. We all got to do this. It's nothing. It's just a piece of paper right now. You know? Let me go over to rockfin.com. Melissa H. Shave your knuckles for justice, Melissa. You're making Gotham great again. Sad to say there will be another killing by a cop and a mass shooting, multiple victims, long before the 1st of May. I know, 212 people killed by cops as of the end of March this year. There have been 147 mass shootings so far this year. Today is the 108th day of the year. I can't keep track of all of them. Like someone will say, Graham, did you hear about this shooting or this cop shot? And I'm just like, I don't know which one. Where is this? Is this the 13-year-old in Chicago, or is this the Minneapolis police killed another person? Where I can't keep track of them. I don't know why more Americans aren't just ashamed. Like, we have no shame? This is our country. This is the country we live in. There's mass shootings every week, and the cops can just kill anybody and everybody's acquitted. It's an embarrassment. This country you should feel shame. If I showed you footage of some third world country where the cops are just killing unarmed people and there was mass shootings and like armed rebel militia warlords, you'd be like, that country's crazy. I'm never going there. That's what people say about America. I know there's people from other countries watching this show. Do you want to come here? Do you feel safe here? I don't. I live here. I don't feel safe here. Like, for real, do you want to come here? Be honest. There's a lot of great stuff in America. A lot of wonderful people. Many of you in the chat right now. I'm going to travel around in September and October, but do you want to? It's crazy. The Rock, oh bummer. Shave your knuckles for justice. Thank you for supporting our show. Laura Good. I hope I'm probably one of those was correct. I hope. Shave your knuckles for justice, Laura. Hey Graham, good morning from China. What's up? Thoughts on the curious silence from post-sports players regarding the latest wave of extrajudicial killing spree of unarmed black people by the out-of-control, racist, occupying police force. Last summer, George Floyd, Black Lives Matter protests managed to get the NBA and others to strike before Obama snuffed it out. The cops are still murdering people. Where's their outrage? Yeah, that's Obama, what he's good at, man. Just putting everybody to sleep. I know. I wish I had an answer for you, Laura. I don't know. That was the thing when I was like, when the strike started last summer, again, the Milwaukee Bucks didn't play a playoff game, which was like, wow, this is okay. This is for real. And everyone stopped playing for 3 days and was like, this is it. This is it. And then they went back to playing. I went, I get that. That's it. You lost your momentum. Like, when are they going to stop? What's it going to take? How many more unarmed black people got to get killed before LeBron James uses his power and his influence and the multi-million-dollar money that he makes and the billions of dollars that he helps generate? Every pro athlete in all of the major sports leagues help generate billions of dollars. Sure, they're paid well, but they help generate billions of dollars for these big corporations, for ESPN and NBC, all the networks, right? And then Nike and Gatorade and Adidas and all those companies, Bud Light and Ford and all these companies that buy ad time. So they have the power. What can I go on strike for? If I don't do this show, that doesn't help. That only hurts me and you. Sports is entertainment. Sports is a distraction. I use sports as a distraction. And last summer, I was really excited when all the sports came because I was like, the shutdown sucked. And I was like, oh, baseball's back. And I was watching the NBA bubble. I was watching the WNBA bubble. And when it all got shut down, I was like, this is it. This is their moment. And they blew it. They listened to Obama. Stop listening to Obama, for starters. He's not a hero. He's a puppet of the corporate ruling elites, just like every president has and is. Just like Biden is, just like Kamala will be when she becomes president. She will be a puppet to the ruling elites. All these cops showing up, killing people and beating the shit out of protesters. Biden's in office now. You can't blame it on Trump. So what now? Well, but Trump signed. No. The NDAA was signed by Obama in December of 2011. Laura, unfortunately, I've lost hope that like the America is going to wake up the way all of us have. Everybody watching this show, you all have woken up. I've woken up. We all have woken up at different times or whatever, but you're all here because you want a different point of view. Some of you are hard lefties like me. I know there's libertarians that watch the show. I know there's conservatives and ex-Trump supporters that watch the show because they realize it's all bullshit. I showed them the bullshit of the Democrats and the bullshit of Trump and everyone else. But unfortunately, we're in the minority. Last summer was the moment. There's moments that you study history the way I have. You see, this is a moment. This is our moment right here, right now. This is a Rosa Parks moment. This is you know what I mean? This is crossing the Selma Bridge. Like, this is that moment. And Obama said, no, I'll go back to playing basketball. And I don't know how what did he say? Like that's like, use your voice on the floor. No, shut it down. Shut down the economy of pro sports to get your message across. So I don't know. I mean, I hope there's more people like Justin Jackson in all these sports leagues. And I got mad respect for Justin, but let's be honest, he's just one guy and he doesn't have the global influence. You know, Justin is trying to get guys, and I'm down with whatever he's doing. Like, I'll support that guy in whatever way possible. And I hope he gets more people. And like we talked about, if you watch the interview I did with him 2 weeks ago, he's talking about he's going to reach out to the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm like, awesome. But LeBron James is one of the most recognizable people on the face of the earth. You know, Justin Jackson's not there yet. I hope his career gets that big, but LeBron James has that kind of sway. And if LeBron called up everybody in the NBA and said, guys, we're walking, or even if he just said, I'm not playing, and got the Lakers to not play, the defending world champ Lakers, who are a multi-billion-dollar generating franchise, they finally had their first home game with fans. Like, you got them to sit down, people would listen, but it's not going to happen. I don't know. Last summer was the time that I don't know what it's going to, what, like how many, and when they went back to playing, I go, they're going to keep shooting unarmed black men. You had a moment, you had a chance. I don't understand. People don't realize that this is their moment in history. I don't get it. And I don't see, like, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm beginning to like lose faith that America is going to wake up. I don't know. Little people are waking up here and there, little groups. I mean, not little, but like little numbers of people. Locally, they're waking up here, there, but there's like, I don't know. Everyone's just like, we're open back up. We're back to normal. Back to normal. Yeah. Mass shootings, cops killing people, unarmed black people getting gunned down, peaceful protesters getting the shit kicked out of them by cops, cops not being held accountable. Yeah. Yay. Back to normal. Everyone just wants to be distracted. I don't know, man. I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for you, Laura. Chimchurri, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Why don't you go on your Patreon community? Why don't you go on your Patreon community? What do you mean by that? What do you mean? Like, I post on Patreon all the time. Is there more you think I should do? I'm open to that. I'm just asking, like, what do you mean by that specifically? Justin Jackson said his favorite athlete right now is Dwayne Wade. Yeah. Unfortunately, America won't wake up until they finally feel or realize they have nothing else to lose. Yeah, right now they still think, well, we're going to go back to normal. The economy is going to get better. We're all going to be good. Okay, I hope. I don't want the economy to collapse. All the indicators show that it's a matter of time. We've just kicked the can down the road. We just literally lengthened the fuse on the stick of dynamite that's going to blow. So I don't know. I mean, the federal government will just keep printing money. I don't know. Graham, you should look up the progressive YouTuber Jackson Hinkle and his show The Dive with Jackson Hinkle. Okay. We're on the road to the Brazil of the North. Yeah. Yeah, I know Hinkle. Too much money for them to lose. Look at Kaepernick still working for Nike, even though he won't pay people pennies. Yeah, I know. That's the other thing too. Now these athletes make so much money, they don't want to give that up. Like LeBron James or any of these big time athletes, they could force Nike and Adidas to stop paying slave wages. They could say, I want these shoes made in America or whatever, or you need to pay the wages in the third world countries more, whatever. They could demand it and it would happen and say, hey, everybody stop buying my shoes until they make more fair wages, and people would get on board with that. Absolutely. Hey, Graham, are you having Sharif on? Yeah, I'd like to have Sharif on. Sharif, let me know when you want to come on the show to talk about this. Maybe we'll get you on closer to the July 24th thing. Epstein was certainly suicided by the powerful. The only question is how deep pedos run. Is it a few who have dirt on the others, or is it possible that the most rich, famous people are in on it since they all come from a few universities, industries? I signed up for your Patreon recently and I left you a question, but you never responded to it. Okay, Chimchery, that's fair. I will try. Here's the thing. And I try to respond to Patreon first because you're obviously, you're paying for it. You're supporting the show. I just get so many requests, emails, social media. But that's a fair question. And I will, this move took up a lot of my time. I will try to respond more, to Patreon folks. Because even I've got 400 some Patreon people, and a lot of people are like email me, and some people email me a lot, and I just still, even then, I still can't respond to all of them, but I really try to, especially with Patreon. So I apologize that I haven't gotten to respond to that yet, but I will definitely make more of an effort. And yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I'll try to make more of an effort. So thanks for bringing it up. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a global child trafficking ring run by the British, American, and Israeli intelligence agencies, along with billionaires, royal families, the whole fucking rat's nest. Yeah, I know. God. I know. I won't bother you that much. I just don't understand the setup over there. Yeah, no worries, man. And I apologize. It's just, so anyone that supports me on Patreon, even at like the $1 level, they can email me. They have access. So there's just a lot of emails. And I try to respond to the people that are at the I have to respond. The people at the $5 submit a topic level, I respond to them because they're submitting like a specific topic every month. And there's about 30 of those folks. And so I try to get to that. You left off the part about it being a Mossad honeypot. How convenient. Yeah, it is part of a Mossad honeypot. I mean, that's the other thing too, the ties to Epstein and how a lot of intelligence communities, as has just been outlined, Mossad, CIA for sure, British Royal Intelligence, they use it a lot. Yeah, for sure. That's absolutely. But that's not a convenient forgetting. I've talked about it at great length. If you watch my Epstein playlist, you'll know that I'm not conveniently forgetting something. Welcome to the show. I'm a patron, but find it easier to nag you in the chat. I know, it's real time. Yeah, Maxwell's father was a top Mossad agent. Yep, something I've mentioned a bunch of times. You must be new. TYT is the dictionary definition of selling out. You got that right. The Rockfinders need that love too, Mr. Elwood. I know. That's my point, folks. Rockfin doesn't have a way to directly email me, so I try to respond to all the Rockfin chats, and that's why I do a Rockfin premium stream. But there's still, I can't respond to even everyone on Rockfin and everyone on Patreon. I still can't get to all of those unless I want to answer emails like 5-6 hours a day. I just can't. I'm trying. I will, But then the emails that get through grahamelwood.com, and then the emails and direct messages through social media, it's literally, I would be answering emails all day and nothing. I couldn't get anything else done. So I'll try my damnedest, and I go, by the folks that are paying to support. I appreciate that the most. So, but it's just, the show's grown, which is great. When I first started 4 years ago, I could answer every email. I could answer every Patreon. I could do everything on social media, which was really cool, but it's growing, which is this is a good problem to have, but that's just the reality of it. So I'll do my best. Phantomus Phanto, shave your knuckles for justice. Graham, you must watch this fan-made series called Once Upon a Time in Minneapolis on YouTube. It's an amazing series that edits a bunch of interviews, podcasts from people in the Prince universe that tells his whole story. There must be hundreds of hours put into this series. It's magical what this person has achieved. He's up to 30 chapters so far, and it's only into 1986. Oh, that's awesome. God. I love Prince. That's really awesome. You have a good point. Shave your knuckles for justice. Dear Graham, I think you are wrong about people fighting back. They spend all that money suppressing news and censoring us. They are rolling out domestic terror policies to stop us. They are locking us down under pandemic emergencies, rolling out the military. We are fighting back. It will always be a struggle. Love you, Graham. That's a valid point. What I was bringing up, though, and I think all these, I'm not saying, oh, people are just quitting. I know a lot of people are fighting back, but the direct question is, why aren't the athletes who went on strike last year, why aren't they stepping up more? I'm not seeing it. I hope, and I'm seeing people fighting back, and I'm seeing people, but last summer, we had tens of thousands of, we had in the streets in every city. We had millions of people in the streets, all in all 50 states and 18 countries. That was amazing. So there's a lot of people still out there, and more people are getting involved, and that's great. A bunch of pro athletes, a whole sports league not playing until things change would have changed things. It absolutely would have. And that's why I think and that would have motivated people to get more pumped up. And as I said in that interview with Justin Jackson, you would have had some All Lives Matter and some Blue Lives Matter people seeing their favorite, black athletes not playing and tearing up on camera saying, we're getting gunned down. This isn't right. And it would have turned the tide. It would have getting some more like white people that are like, oh, these few bad apples, cops aren't all bad. And, whatever, that people in that mentality would have changed some of them, and it would have shifted the culture. Now it did shift to a little bit, but it needs to shift more. And it's not like I've lost faith in people, but or anything like that. And all the reasons you laid out are very accurate, which is, you see how sophisticated the propaganda and the machine is to keep us divided, distracted, and afraid. One of the ways that we're distracted is working. We got to work. Everyone's got to work 2-3 jobs to barely get by. So they don't have time to protest. They don't have time to get involved. They're afraid of if they have too much of an activist, they'll lose their job, and their healthcare is tied to their job, and they need their healthcare. So all those things are in place. I get it. The structure is in place to keep us all home and not protesting. But that's why pro athletes stepping up would be a very significant thing. Pro athletes saying, yeah, I don't care about my $20 million Nike contract. This ain't right. So we'll see. I'd like to see more, people with worth tens and hundreds of millions of dollars say this ain't enough, but that's part of the system is in place to benefit them. So I don't know. Yeah, I didn't say, I think you must misunderstood it. I didn't say people are not fighting back. I think people are fighting back, but again, pro athletes have a lot of power and a lot of leverage because they generate billions of dollars. And if they stood up and said, I'm not playing until things change, I would support them. I'd be like, I'm down, dude. I won't watch. I'll boy. And if, they put scabs on the field, I wouldn't watch them. I'd cancel my Major League Baseball subscription. I'd be like, no way. I'm sorry. But they haven't done that. Graham, have you ever looked into Creative Artist Agency? Yeah, I've talked about them in UTA, but I'll need to do another video on it. They rep Biden, Yang, Cenk, Colbert, Mayer, Noah, Cooper. Yeah, I'll do another video on that. I know this has been brought up before, Justin, and I've said I will, and I will. But yeah, no, I'm aware of who they are, what they do. I know what those guys do. MHC, shave them. I think we somehow need to ingrain skepticism. So when a figure like Obama or Bernie Sanders is sent to calm anger and halt momentum, the reaction is basically to ignore them and keep going. That's a good point. That's part of the problem too. I think you bring up a great point, MHC. And, those of us on the left have, some of us have been guilty of like, Bernie's going to save the day and assigning too much to people like Bernie or Obama or Tulsi or AOC or the squad or whatever, and be like, they're going to come in and save us. So we're less likely to go, no, what? My good friend. I mean, when Bernie supported my good friend, he endorsed Joe Biden. I was like, nope, I'm gone. When Tulsi did that, I'm like, nope, I'm gone. And some diehards of those two politicians got mad at me. I don't care. So I think that skepticism. You're right, MHC. We need a lot of healthy skepticism so that when that happens and they come in and tell us to calm down, we go, no, I ain't calming down. You need to make change happen. That's a good point. That is a good point. Make sure I didn't miss any of the. I don't think I missed any of the tips. No, we got all of them. Okay, we got all of them. Cool. Let me make sure. Boom. I boycotted the NFL for Kaepernick. The season my home team, Seahawks, went to the Super Bowl. Only game I watched, and they lost. I get it, man. Bernie was cosplaying Revolution, unfortunately. Cosplay. That's hilarious. 339 people watching, 322 likes. I like it. Graham, please search arms race vaccines, variants, pandemic, evolutionary pressure biology. You'll find out the mass vaccinating is legit driving the pandemic variants. This isn't fake news. All right, good to know. I'll check that out. Graham, you should look up anarchism. It is a very interesting ideology. Noam Chomsky is an anarchist. Okay. Did you and Lee do a Gov Seeks this week? Yes, we did. We did it Friday, and it'll come out Monday. But that's the other thing. If you're either a Patreon supporter or a rockfin.com/Graham Elwood premium supporter, you get the archive of Gov Seeks is so you can go back and watch the episode before everybody else. You get it early, an early Gov Seeks. Expecting celebrities to save us is not good. That's for sure. Especially sports guys with a desire for the superficial in life. Educated celebrities don't even do much. Yep, I know. I think Shonen will be innocent or guilty. I think they're going to find him guilty because I think they realize that if he's innocent, the city will go up in flames. The whole country might go up in flames. So. I don't know when the verdict of the Chauvin case is yet. Debate Cenk Uygur. Yeah. Are you looking for the next Sunday's Academy Awards? Belated April Fool's Day joke. Yeah, I don't care. I used to get all fired up for that. I had a movie podcast. I don't care anymore. It's so funny. Yeah. One of the mass shootings last week was by a former football player, but he didn't play so much. Don't know if it was brain injury. Well, you got to ask the question. That's another thing that really bummed me out about the NFL is they covered up CTE, which is that brain disease that like made former NFL players commit suicide and go crazy. And like that guy, when I heard about that, I was like, oh God. It's the first thing that popped into my mind. Does he have CTE? Because it makes you violent and unpredictable. So I don't know if they can study it. I don't know. It's brutal. Graham, there's pressure for forced stimulus. Do you think it'll happen? Graham, an NBA strike for Black Lives Matter would be counterproductive. Disagree with that 100%, and I'll explain why. Think of the boycott by right-wingers of the NFL for being woke. Leagues should all say sport unites people and politics divides. No, here's the point you're missing. First of all, there's the white people who try to do that thing. There's not enough of them. Here's why that would have been effective, because it's you do boycotts, you do money. I again will bring up the example last summer during the height of the George Floyd protest. People started tearing down Christopher Columbus statues and be like, this guy was racist, he was genocide, he was awful. By Christopher Columbus's own journal, watch the Government Secrets episodes. He was horrific. His own words. He was like, oh yeah, I'd stab and murder, and he was awful. So the owner of the Washington Redskins, now Redskin is a very derogatory term for Native Americans. It's literally like the Detroit Coons and the New York Kikes and the, Texas Spics play. Like, it's literally like the Atlanta Crackers. It's that derogatory of a term. If any of those words made you uncomfortable, good. I want you to understand that's what Redskin means to a Native American. It's that derogatory of a term. People have been protesting that name for decades. Snyder, who's been the owner of the team, I think for 15 years, roughly in that neighborhood, maybe a little longer, maybe a little less, has said for this entire time, I'm not changing the name. I'm not changing the name. It's part of our history. He said that for years. It's part of our history. A bunch of people protest and last summer threatened to boycott FedEx. FedEx has a $500 million licensing deal for Washington to play in FedEx Stadium. People said they're going to boycott FedEx. And last summer, everybody was boycotting. Social media that's all anyone was talking about was Black Lives Matter last summer. FedEx went, uh-oh, this is bad PR. Whatever the reasoning was. They said to the owner of the Washington Redskins, you better change the name or we're pulling this $500 million. And like that, Bruce Snyder just had an awakening. He got hit by 500 million beams of light and said, you better, and he went, I'll change. And the name was changed overnight to the Washington Football Club. Didn't even get a new mascot. Said that's it. Kept the same colors, took off the logo and put numbers on the sides of the helmet. So my point to you is when the Milwaukee Bucks last summer said, we're not playing because Jacob Blake was shot in Racine, which is maybe a half hour south of Milwaukee. Had the Milwaukee Bucks said, we're not playing, this season's over, we're going to strike. The billionaire owners, let's say just the billionaire owner of the Milwaukee Bucks goes, hey to Milwaukee City Council and Racine City Council, you better change some laws right now, or I'm pulling my team out of here. Laws would have been changed because money talks. Major League Baseball is pulling the All-Star game out of Atlanta. And a handful of loud red staters going, oh, you woke cancel culture. Go fuck yourself, you racist piece of shit. Don't care what you think. The majority of us are sick of it. A handful of dumb racists are holding this country back. So a strike would have woken everybody up. The climate last summer, when they stopped playing, I watched sports. And you couldn't get away from it. You couldn't get away from Black Lives Matter. You couldn't get away from George Floyd. You couldn't get away from Jacob Blake getting shot in the back 7 times for walking away from cops. Armed people with AR-15s and neo-Nazi paraphernalia broke into the Capitol, and they weren't a handful of them were tear gas. They weren't shot in the back. So if the players say, we're not playing anymore, hey, billionaires, you're not generating any more revenue off of our labor until you've pressured. Because when billionaires say to city councils, hey, guy I donated to, I'm a billionaire. I donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to your governor campaign, to your mayor campaign, to whatever. Because they had to do that to get their stadiums built. You think they got those stadiums built just on good vibes and handshakes? No. You pull that money, things change. So shut it all down. Force America to face this. It would have worked, and it still would work. Yeah, every day new information is coming out about how the extent to which the state allowed the Capitol events to play out on January 16. Yep. It was Kenosha. You're right. Sorry, it was Kenosha, not Racine. I forget. Kenosha and I always get those mixed up. Kenosha and Racine are both 2 small towns that are just about a half hour or so south of Milwaukee. My fault. Thank you for that correction. And the Capitol insurrectionists were allowed to leave after they did. Imagine if Black Lives Matter to do that and leave. Half of them would have been gunned down. Oh, yeah. Look how armed the Minneapolis police were last week, knowing there was going to be Black Lives Matter protests after the shooting of, I think with Dante Wright. Armed to the teeth. Couple hundred, maybe couple thousand protesters. They armed to the teeth. 100,000 people showing up, many of them Second Amendment people with guns, and they just have a handful of Capitol Police out there with some little like barricades like you'd have at a music festival. Right. They couldn't figure it out. Oh, weird. Hello, my cousins and comrades. You got that right. Laura Go, shave your knuckles for justice. Thank you for supporting us at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. You are correct about the 2020 protests as being the flashpoint and potential watershed moment that could have ushered in dramatic social economic change. The reason that the ruling elites rushed their puppet Obama is to expeditiously to snuff out the NBA striking players was because they knew that strikes were very contagious, especially by high-profile pro sports team players. That was like July. The George Floyd protest the last week. George Floyd was murdered the last Monday in May. That whole week and that second week was when it all went off. All the protests and it just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. Bigger, bigger, bigger. More police violence, people saying no, tearing down the statues. It just kept getting bigger. The whole month of June was protests. So leading into that, and then there was the shooting of Jacob Blake, whose uncle I went to high school with and played football with. And everyone was like, no, we're done. We're done. And the NBA was done. The WNBA was done. Some Major League Baseball teams stopped playing. Justin Jackson told us that the Chargers were supposed to do a televised scrimmage in their new stadium, and they didn't play. They just came out and talked. Everyone was on board. All those people, those tens of millions of people in the streets would have been like, we support the NBA players strike. We support Major League Baseball strike. We support everybody. And a handful of like, well, all lives matter. Stop with your woke would have been like, shut up and sit down. You're done. This ain't right. Could have changed it. Then Obama came in and put everybody back to sleep and everyone just started playing basketball and everyone stopped. Protests stopped. Strike stopped. Jim Garrison, Shiver Knuckles for Justice. Lee Harvey Oswald sends in a $10 just for the coup of it. Thank you, Jim. Oh, shit, that's funny. Harry C. Smith, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. What's up, Harry? How you doing, brother? And just where all the artists and musicians decrying war, inequality, racism, we all relied on in the past to be our mouthpiece against the powerful. That is such a great point. And it's something I brought up before on this show. So in the 60s and 70s, all these artists and musicians and actors and athletes were speaking up because you had to take a stand on the Vietnam War. You had to take a stand on civil rights. You had to take a stand on women's rights. You just had to. You had to take a stand on this. You had to take a side. You couldn't just like, well, I don't know. You had to take a side. So just to give you Hollywood, to give you a little history lesson as to why it's harder to do now, guess what? It's big corporations. What, Graham? Why are you always saying that? Connect the money, follow the money, connect the dots, find the truth, right? So to give you a little Hollywood history lesson. So the studio system was the old school system in like the 40s and 50s and 60s, where you had the big studio and there was just like one guy, like Louis B. Mayer, right? He ran this studio, MGM. And if you were a young actor, if you're an actor, whatever, Clark Gable came up in the studio system. Let's just use him as an example. He got a studio contract. You as an actor got a studio contract, and the studio said, you're under contract. We're going to pay you this amount of money every year, and you're going to do whatever we tell you to do. So you'd show up at the studio and be like, this month you're working on a musical. Tomorrow you're going to, they give you singing lessons, dancing lessons. They train you. They groom you. They controlled your whole life. They told you who to date. They'd say, you're dating this actress and you're going to go to that restaurant. And they would make sure that there was publicists there and the press was there to shoot photos of you with this young starlet, to go out in all the magazines. Oh, so-and-so's dating so-and-so, right? So that's how that whole machine got put into place. And they told you, you're going to do this movie, you're going to do that movie, you're going to this movie. So the studio system started to crumble in the late 60s, when everybody was challenging everything. So this is, again, what the ruling elites had learned. Everyone started protesting, burning draft cards. The studio system collapsed. So then in the 70s, there's a great book called Easy Riders, Raging Bulls. And it's literally like the inmates were running the asylum. So you had all of these really amazing films and some TV shows, but movies that really challenged things. Movies that 3 Days of the Condor, The Deer Hunter, Apocalypse Now, movies that had heavy anti-war messages. Now, I've said this before, especially Apocalypse Now, many of those movies, they had anti-war messages, but they still had a very sort of slanted, stereotypical, racist view of the Vietnamese, which was not good. But you also cannot deny they had heavy anti-war messages. But anyway, these movies were not John Wayne. There's a Vietnam movie called John Wayne made called The Green Berets. And it's this like John Wayne gung-ho Vietnam movie. And it is such a piece of propaganda. And it showed you the divide between like the older generation that still thought Vietnam should be supported like World War II and the younger generation that was like, we're done with these wars. So you had all this resistance. You had artists speaking up. You had people like Jane Fonda. I mean, you had all of these artists speaking up, and they took a lot of shit, but they made really powerful movies that had social commentary, that demanded for peace, that questioned authority, questioned rulers. The 80s, the big corporations bought up all of the media companies, all of the studios. And then you had the blockbuster. And that's when American exceptionalism started really getting pushed. So now, if you're an actor, a big Hollywood celebrity, and you want to speak out against the war machine, you're done. You're done. And I still think there's a lot of people in Hollywood that they're also just, and same with the pro athlete, and they're paid well. So they don't want to give up the fancy house and the cars and the private jets and the whatever, the jewelry and the bling bling and the fame and the pretty ladies and the pretty, dating celebrities, even the female, they get to, you're a beautiful female athlete, star, movie star, you get to date other beautiful people, you're given all that. You're given the keys to the kingdom, and they'll take it away. And no one's willing to take a stand. And last summer they were starting to realize, I got to take a stand. And now they're not. You got people like Maya Moore, who plays in the WNBA, and she's like an all-star. She's got championship rings. She stopped playing because she's like, I'm going to fight, social justice stuff. I'm not going to play basketball anymore. And I wonder if more athletes are going to do that. I don't know. But you're not going to get a lot of play. You're not going to win Grammys. You're not going to win Emmys. You're not going to win Oscars. You're not going to win Golden Globe Awards if you're calling out the war machine. If you do a documentary showing how bad Trump is, you'll get something. But even the Oscars is propaganda. One of the Oscars for best documentary a couple years ago was this White Helmets doc showing how great the white helmets are. It's more bullshit propaganda for us to justify. There's not a documentary that's going to get an Oscar that's going to show the United States backing Al-Qaeda and ISIS, which is true, to fight Assad because Assad won't let us build a pipeline through his country. There's not going to be any documentary that's going to win an Oscar like that because they control everything. And again, the big corporations control all of the major media outlets. And look, Kaepernick, okay, now they've apologized and okay, but that was send a message. Hey man, you want to take a knee? You're done. Your $10 million contract, bye, gone. You're done. You're done. So if you become a big time A-list celebrity or big time, top tier sports athlete, and you're getting big, shoe contracts, and I would do that like this guy for Jacksonville did, I think last fall for the NFL. He got paid half of his salary in Bitcoin. So it was like $2.6 million he was paid in Bitcoin in the fall when Bitcoin was at like 20,000 a coin. So now already, that's what I would, if they pay me a bunch of money, I'd buy Bitcoin and invest it well and then start speaking out so that if they fired me or Kaepernicked me, I'd be like, too bad, bitch. I got all this money. Fuck your war machine. Watch an interview with the guy that played James Bond in Her Majesty's Secret Service, George Lazenby, Australian guy. That movie was in the 60s, and he started to get involved with the anti-Vietnam War movement and growing his hair out. And he's like, I don't want to do this movie because it promotes war. Fired. Gone. Great question, Harry. Good to see you in the chat, my friend. Melissa H. Shave your knuckles for justice. Listen to a recording of radio traffic of the 6th of January. Officer on the ground at Capitol begging for more cops 16 times, as well as asking for National Guard. Also, Snyder has owned the Washington football team for 22 hellish years. Thank you for that clarification on both those fronts. Thanks, Melissa. Lucky Burrito Art and Music. What's up? How's Neville doing? Maxine Waters went to the protest last night for Dante Wright last night and told the people to stay in the streets and the curfew means shut up. The thing I had an issue with was how she answered about getting legislation passed. Said she did not know because the right, racist, and white supremacy would block it. Neville sends his love. Oh, that's interesting. All right. Yeah, Maxine Waters is, she's a corporate Democrat that likes performative acts. That'll make her seem like she's part of the resistance when she'll vote for, she'll vote for Biden's war budget. She'll vote for, that's what she'll do. 367 likes. Hit the like button. All right, folks. Who's the best, least corrupted Democrat at this point? Nobody. That's in office? Nobody. None. In Congress or the Senate? None. None. Bernie's an independent, but even then, he's useless. If Nina Turner wins, maybe her, but then if she stays with the Democratic Party and doesn't switch to the People's Party, then I will have no faith in her. Right now she's like, oh, I can't run as a People's Party because we're not in my district in Ohio. Okay, fair enough. If she wins and then defects to the People's Party, that'll be huge. That'll be a big thing. And I'll be like, right on, Nina. And I'll be like, you're the person I always thought you were. If she stays with the Democratic Party and starts talking about, I'm going to reform from within, then forget it. She'll just say the Republicans are bad and she won't do anything. She'll just AOC squat her way through her term. Yeah. She's got to defect. You can't reform the Democratic Party from within. It's impossible. And anyone who thinks that they can is delusional. They're delusional. Or they're a liar, or they're just promised stuff. Like I'm sure they promised AOC a bunch of stuff. White House, VP, Secretary of State, whatever. And she's like, yeah, and she's power hungry. And so that's that. Nina Turner said the squad is the best we've got. Yeah, which just shows you. Nina's husband and son are cops, and I heard she already appointed DNC people for her campaign. Ugh. Well, if that's true backyard politics, then forget it. I'm done holding out any hope for anybody with a Democrat. There's no Democrat, there's no Republican that's going to come ride to the rescue. It's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen. There's no Santa Claus. Okay? Christmas is canceled. Forget it. The Tooth Fairy was your mom. It's over. It's going to happen. Some electoral politics on a local level can change things, which is great. Oregon has decriminalized, all drugs, $15 an hour in Florida. And there's a bunch of little examples like that. Some city councils passing some pretty progressive legislation. That'll get it done. It's going to take direct actions in the streets, not in the streets, but like big boycotts, what Wall Street Bets did. It's going to take really inventive stuff like that. That's going to change things. Thinking that someone is going to write in with a D next to their name and save you is like seriously go to Disneyland. Like you have a better chance of like Mickey Mouse actually being real. And going, hi, everybody, here's Medicare for all. Like you have as much chance of that happening as a Democrat. Okay. I hope the People's Party replaces the Democratic Party. And then like more independent parties come in. We have coalition governments. I'd love to see that. Hi, here, we're going to forgive student debt, everybody. I'm Mickey Mouse. We're ending all war. We're cutting the military budget in half and spending the rest on a Green New Deal. Go buy some funnel cakes. Shades of Mr. Bill. Nick, your interview with your husband in your yard was great. Wanted to come over and join you. Oh, what's up, Annabelle? Portland has been in turmoil for a year. Yep, that is true. Time for a resource-based economy, my people. Peep Jack Fisco and his work. Are you going to run as a People's Party candidate? Nomination process started. I'm not going to nominate myself. If you nominate me and there's enough people to nominate me, I'll run. I believe if the people want, I got to be a politician. You don't want me. I don't want, but if you nominate me, I'll run and I'll do it to the best of my ability. And I will fucking kick ass. Because baby, I play to win. I'm a hippie trapped in a meathead's body. And I'll bring my hippie ideas and my meathead competitiveness, and I will fucking knock motherfuckers out, literally and figuratively, to change things. That I promise you. I don't want to be a politician. I know they'll smear me and say awful things if I get close to getting power. But if you want me to do it, I will do it. I was captain of my football team, not because I wanted to be, but because my teammates elected me. So that's why I was captain. So politics seems to corrupt people. Well, here's the thing. A surfboard in every garage, a kale in every pot. Yes. Because I would run in my district, which is the 34th Congressional District, which part of it is Santa Monica. And baby, I will fucking clean that beach up. It'll be the cleanest surf break in North America. I already know what I would do. I already know what I would do with the beaches. The water runoff that comes every time it rains in LA, I'd capture every drop of that water. I'd grab all the trash before it made it to the ocean, and I'd reuse that water. I would absolutely do that. Right-wing jock. No, I was not a right-wing jock. Yeah. So, you must sing "Playing to Win Tonight Is You." What is the "Playing to Win" song? I'm not talking about desalinization. I'm talking about in Los Angeles, they built these, when it rains, the water just runs into the ocean. So all this crap goes into the ocean, and surfers in Southern California, we have to wait anywhere from 36 to 72 hours to surf after it rains because the water's too contaminated. And the LA County Health Department, literally there's a website. It's like, oh, don't go to this beach. There's storm runoff drains. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Just capture that fucking water. We're in a desert, for the love of God. So it'll help prevent droughts. The oceans stay cleaner. All this garbage comes in. So you have a thing that captures all the water, pulls the garbage out of it. And then there's one right by the Santa Monica Pier. It's called SMRF, Santa Monica Urban Runoff Facility. And they take all this rainwater runoff, and then they clean it and put it back into the water. So it never touches the ocean. We're reusing, because right now we're just wasting rainwater. We're in a desert, for the love of God. And we just waste rainwater whenever it rains. We have months, the summer months, it never rains in Southern California. We're already behind on water this year in rain. Come on, man. That water cycle is desalinization. No. Desalinization is taking ocean water and pulling the salt out of it. I'm talking about taking rainwater that is going to just be dumped into the ocean and capturing it before it goes into the ocean. That's not desalinization. So we don't need to desalinize the water. We just capture and reuse as much rainwater as possible. So you're not dumping all this stuff from the sewers, because when it rains, anybody throws any garbage in the street, anywhere in LA, it ends up in the ocean. So there's all this plastic and crap floating in the water. Okay? So you capture that. So the rainwater, before it gets to the ocean, again, so there's no salt in rainwater to pull out. So there's nothing to desalinize. We just collect the garbage that's in it from all the gutters in the streets, and then make sure the water gets filtered, and then put it back into the water table that we use for our everyday cooking, cleaning, shower, brushing your teeth. Get it? And plan for water reclamation and reuse. That's what I'm talking about. Water reclamation and reuse. How would you make sure you wouldn't be corrupted if you became a politician? I mean, I would just fucking go to Vegas. No. It's a great question. I don't care about having a career in politics. So I would just be like, I'm going to get shit done. I'm going to get as many laws on the books as quickly as I can to make things better for future generations, so that I can go back to telling jokes and surfing. That's why I don't like these people. I don't want to be around them. I literally don't. I would like, I wouldn't be like, oh, what about getting reelected and kicking this can down the road? I wouldn't play politics. I would go hard. And the minute I saw any like fame, whatever, I would just give more money away. I would just donate more money. I'd just buy more Bitcoin. I'd build housing for the homeless. I would just reject all of their trappings. I heard about this spiritual teacher in India who has these like ashrams, in India, doesn't charge a penny. It's all donation based, and they don't even ask for donations. And he was supposed to come, I think, to Greece or something like that. I forget the guy's name. And he's not famous because he doesn't charge money for his classes or sell books or anything like that. I was like, wow. He was supposed to come somewhere to Greece to give a talk. Again, doesn't charge any money, does it for free. And the news media got a hold of it, and they made this big deal. Oh, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming. So he canceled the trip because he just didn't want the hysteria and the craziness. I would be like, here's the thing about Buddha. If you ever look at a Buddha statue or painting, Buddha has big loped ears, and you see little like slats in it, where what is that signified is Buddha came from a wealthy family, or so it's told. And wealthy people in that era, in that place in the world, he came from India, would wear big jewel and have big ear holes for earrings. The wealthy, the males would do that, and as females as well, I believe. And would wear big opulent jewelry. So one of the reasons why he's always drawn with empty ear holes is because he gave away his wealth. I don't want any of these material things. So that's what I would do. The more material stuff I was given or made or whatever, I'd give it away. And I would just say whatever the people want. This is what my constituents want. This is what everyone who votes in the People's Party, which is everybody, wants. If the People's Party got hijacked and there was people in there doing nefarious things to try to make the People's Party like this, I'd bail and run as an independent. I wouldn't make any I would just be like, we got to have these things. My platform would be pretty straightforward. Medicare for all, $15 an hour minimum wage, Green New Deal, student debt forgiveness, free college tuition, and the wars. And homelessness. That's what I would do. It'd be pretty simple. The Dalai Lama worked for the CIA. I keep seeing that, but I've seen no evidence. I just keep seeing post that, but I've seen no evidence. So until I see evidence of that, I need more than just people saying that. What did he like give some piece of intel about China to the CIA? And now everyone says, oh, he sold out to the CIA. I don't know. Well, I need more than that. Yeah, I would be very transparent about everything too. Graham, don't you want to go to brunch with the squad and be defended by Ryan Graham? Yeah. All right, Kate's got to sign off. Thank you, Kate. We'll see you tomorrow night, Kate. Have a good night. I got to go myself. God, it's 2.5 hours. Oh my God, it just goes. Thanks, Kate. Did a great job. What's my email? The nomination form needs an email. You can just do graham@grahamelwood.com if that's the person they want to. Yeah. Good night, Kate. I'm moving back to California. If you run for governor, I'll phone bank for you. I think the what I would run for is probably the 34th District Congress against Ted Lieu. But I don't know if people wanted me to run for governor. I guess I'd run for governor. I'd be a pretty kick-ass governor of California, I tell you that much. Rock and roll governor, baby. High-speed surfboards. I'd get high-speed rail done. I'd get it done. All right, I'm going to sing a song. Let's roll. All right. I forgot what song to sing. You guys always bring up songs to sing and then I always forget them. Nina Turner said she is a Democrat and that's why she's running with them. Yeah, of course. Yeah, USAers somehow think we're free, yet our assemblies are deemed illegal and our supposedly free speech get censored and replatformed. Yeah. Make sure there's no more. Jim Garrison, shave your knuckles for justice. My friends just call me Lucifer because I'm in need of some restraint. Thank you for that, Rolling Stone. Quote, climate rebel, boom. People's Party executive, Graham, Elwood, 2024. You got it. If you guys nominate me, I'll run. It's that simple. I will come to California and do a potato party fundraiser with vegan, vegetarian, and lacto-fantastic food. Yeah. Lacto-fantastic. Lacto-fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I know the people I'd put in my campaign. My friend JB Updike that runs open primaries. I've known him since we were 15, and he knows independent professional politics better than anybody. And I would trust that guy with my life, and I'd be like, that guy's running my campaign. That guy's running my campaign. Borat invented COVID. Fuck, that's funny. Graham Medhurst 2028. Oh, that'd be a good ticket. Elwood Webb. Me and Whitney Webb. Rounding up pedo billionaire fucks. Again, evidence. You're just saying something in the chat. Dalai Lama did this. Evidence. I need evidence. Did you ever get that Bill Gates story I requested on Venmo? Oh, I'm sorry, Truth to Tweet. I've been traveling. I just moved. I apologize, but I'll get to that. I'll bring Whitney Webb back on the show. We've talked about vaccines before. Yeah, Richard Medhurst isn't an American, so I don't think he could run. I'll get Whitney back on the show. All right. What was the song you wanted me to sing? I forget. Annabelle, you had a song? Oh, Whitney's going to drop a new Epstein expose. Ooh. Pop Goes the Weasel could be Government Secrets theme song. Oh, damn, Truth to Tweet. That is funny as shit. Sing Oh Canada. Sing something from Devo. I've never sang a Devo song. That's it. Oh. Devo Whip It. I'm going to sing Whip It from Devo. As Shatner? What do you think? Eddie Vedder? I should be America's surfing attaché to Australia. I would absolutely do that. I would be surfing America's surfing attaché to Australia. I would absolutely do that. All right, I'll sing it as Darien. Granny Petrol. Oh, you're right. All right, we haven't done Granny in a while. And I haven't done a Sunday one in a while, Truth to Tweet. And I know you like these Sunday ones. I know it started late, but all right, I'll do Granny Petrol. Whip It. Boom, 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 boom. All right. All right, here comes Granny. Well, hello, Granny Petro here, talking about how Greta doesn't like anything, so we're going to sing a fun song. Oh, Greta. Crack that whip. Give the pass a slip. Step on a crack. Break your mama's back. When a problem comes along, you must whip it. Before the ice cream sits out too long, you must whip it. When something's going wrong, you must whip it. Now whip it into shape. Shape it up, Greta. Get straight. Go forward, not on a boat. Hating adults. Try to detect it. It's not too late to whip it. Whip it good. Come now, Greta. If good turns around, you must whip it. You will never live it down unless you whip it. No one gets away until they whip it. I say whip it. Whip it good, Greta. But Greta, whip it. Whip it good. Musical break, Greta. Rather than riding on a boat, you must whip it. Rather than skewing a school strike, you must whip it. Rather than yelling at adults, you must whip it. Crack that whip. Give the pass a slip. Step on a crack. Break your mama's back. When a problem, oh Greta, when a problem comes along, you must whip it. When an oil pipeline breaks, you must whip it. When something's going wrong, you must whip it. Whip it into shape. Shape it up. Get straight. Go forward, Greta, just like a pipeline. Move ahead like a pipeline. Try to detect it. Pipelines don't complain and blame adults and go on hippie boats not going to school. They whip it, Greta. Go forward. Move ahead just like oil progress. Too late to whip it. Whip it good. Oh, Greta, Greta, try to whip it. Thank you. Granny Petro, gonna go whip it.
Come by Firestone Complete Auto Care and get our best deals on all full synthetic blend, and standard oil changes.
Hey now, that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, come on. There you go. Folks, that is our show. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody over on the Rockfin who has signed up and supported our show. Everybody who did the tips, thank you so much. And also, of course, Monday nights, tomorrow night, we will do our Rockfin Premium, like Graham's Late Night Crypto Lounge. Usually starts at 8 o'clock Pacific time. I might start a little earlier tomorrow just because some of you have asked for an earlier one. So pay attention on Twitter. I might start an hour or two earlier. Just because I didn't get to do one last week because I didn't have my Wi-Fi set up, but we're back. We got the fancy studio. We're all set up. And it's going to be good. We've got 398 likes. Let's get to 400 likes right now. 2 more likes. Hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. Come on. 2 likes, 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 2 likes. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. You can do it. Who hasn't hit the like button? 399. Who hasn't done it? Come on. I'm watching in real time. Hit the like button. 406. We did it. Okay, right on. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the show. Backyard Politics. So great to see you. I haven't seen you in the chat in forever. I hope you're well. I hope you and your husband are safe and everything. I know you're doing great work out there, but stay safe. please stay safe. We'll get you back on the show, Nikki. Give us an update on what you're doing. So that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Please go to grahamelwood.com. You can support our show in many, many ways. There's Venmo, there's PayPal, there's buying the Political Vigilante merchandise is there. That logo is on a bunch of stuff. And if money's tight, I totally get it. Then just like, share, and subscribe. Share my videos on your social media. That's a great free way to support what we're doing. And if money's tight, don't worry about it. I get it. It's tough times for a lot of people because of the pandemic. So stay safe, everybody. And we will be live again tomorrow night. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow on the Late Night Crypto Lounge. Boom.